introduces a paradigm shift in how school quality, compliance, and accreditation has to be managed. And in that framework, it prioritizes learning outcomes, transparency, and self-assessment. Therefore, following this NAP clause, the state of Nagaland had already established an interim NSQAAF developed by NCRT in collaboration with various stakeholders. At a later stage, we will make it into an independent body, regulatory body, a regulatory governing body. So the interim body which we have set up now is the first step. And our task is to build it carefully so that a permanent authority
within that school is the best school. See? So today, I think what we are initiating today will go a long way because as it was briefly mentioned to all of you, the new education policy, it has brought in a lot of modernization of how we are redesigning, how we understand our schools. We understand that our school systems, particularly all over India and also in Nagaland, our school systems have been running on a purely hearsay and result. So here I think our assessment will be a mixture of the binary system as well as other self-evidence point system.
Kapil Purana, Sharing Konge, Akhand Pratap Singh, Sankhya Eti Kala. Thank you, sir, madam.
Mukha district, from Mukha district.
We'll walk you through how to download those forms, how to fill those forms, what are the questions in those forms, all of those details we'll walk you through that today. And we'll have a practice session. So we break you into groups depending upon your role in the pilot program, and we'll have a practice session, a hands-on training on how to fill these forms, and then we'll share the schedule of activities. I hope this is clear for everybody. Across any standard, you're going to be given 1 point. If you choose level 2, you'll be given 2 points. If you choose level 3, you'll be given 3 points. Does this make sense? So now based on this, your overall score across all domains, all standards will be calculated. Again, coming back to this. So for example, if we have, does the school offer a range of sports and physical facilities? If you choose inadequate or no sports facility, you will be given 1 point.
It's clear and easy to understand. Once you start filling, you will go standard by standard. 338 standards, which means you will be going one by one 338 times. How many of them are easy to understand, difficult to understand, in totality? How do you feel about the framework? Is it too difficult for a school to do? Is it doable? So that is the feedback we are trying to capture. Second, are the standards relevant for the school or not? So yes, we are doing this exercise. Yes, we are piloting the framework. But is the framework relevant to our schools? For example, there might be many questions that are not applicable to 3 schools or are not applicable to secondary schools. So we need to understand that as well. Because these 338 questions are spread across all types of schools, all managements, all grades. So that needs to be understood. Then there is external assessment. In external assessment, some of you people have been chosen as external evaluator, right? So those external evaluators can be school heads or EBRCs. They will review the evidence that is provided by the school. They will review the report that is filled by the school. They will go to the school, they will check for themselves, observe, is this report, is this evidence correctly furnished? You will check, cross-check if this is correct or not. And then you will also review the framework. You will also review this external evaluation process. Is it helping the school? Is it helping the framework? Or we need to make changes to it? Okay? Fill self-evaluation form and feedback. So you go through the framework and the list of evidences that we will provide you. Then you gather the evidence for each subdomain. And then you fill the form. The most important part that has been mentioned by advisor sir and Madam Chade, that the school must not create new evidence just for this form. For the sake of this pilot, do not create evidence. If you have it, you submit it. If you don't have it, you choose the option, we don't have it or it's not applicable. Okay? Then prepare for external evaluation. Once you are done here filling the form, we will get the data. We will organize it, we will send it to external evaluators. Now you will get the date and the time external evaluation will happen. You keep all your evidences ready, you keep your form ready. Ensure all members from NSQAAF committee are present when external evaluator will be visiting the school. So they will be also meeting the SMC members, the parents, the teachers and everyone. And then last is inform all stakeholders to be present for interviews with external evaluator, parents, SMC, SMBC members, students, teachers, etc. That's all you have to do in self-evaluation.
Answer these questions. So there are a set of questions like we discussed for every subdomain. There are totally 53 subdomains and we have to answer the questions. There are 3 options per question. You've got to select them. Then evidence upload at a subdomain level. So on an average you might have about 10 questions per subdomain. 8, 10, some 17, depending upon the domain, depending upon the subdomain, you might have different levels, types of questions, right? So for all of those questions, we've listed the evidences required in the subdomain. So remember the list of evidences we saw in the framework breakdown? So those evidences are going to be listed in the form. So you just have to click on what you have and upload that and then move on. Make sense? Finally, at the end of every domain, so now you have 53 subdomains, right? It's a humongous framework. So feedback has been kept at the domain level. So for each domain, we can capture what have you understood, where have you struggled, what evidence would have helped you better, maybe whether standards could have been worded differently, maybe some standards were not in the control of your school at all. So all of that feedback will be recorded at the domain level. Here they will ask you questions about the quality of standards, quality of supporting documents, process of self-evaluation. Does this make sense? Finally, we have overall feedback at the end of the form on the entire process of self-evaluation. Right now, I want to clarify again. Some schools have a dual role of self-evaluator and external evaluator. These schools have to fill both these forms. Now, they don't have to fill it on the same day. They'll schedule it in a way that is easy for school. But even schools need to understand what the external evaluator process is like. And because they've evaluated themselves, they have deeper insights on where they've struggled. So they can support schools more. That's why different types of evaluators are there. So for them, again basic details about the assigned school. So what is your name? What school have you been assigned? So when we share the details of the external evaluation, near the date we'll also share this is the school that you have to externally evaluate. Mostly it will be a neighboring school. Then feedback first at a subdomain level. So here the feedback is at a subdomain level. So there are 53 subdomains. For each subdomain you have a set of very objective, straightforward questions. We will go through those questions. Very simple, based on your observations, you will have to respond. Mostly on the accuracy of school self-evaluation. Questions like, how many standards were incorrectly evaluated? Why were they incorrectly evaluated? Did the school not understand? Did the school not have sufficient evidence? What are the possible options for that? Right? What was the hardest for you to verify as an external evaluator? These are also questions we've asked. So we'll run through that. And then quality of the supporting documents. Because we're asking for evidence. The evidence is quite subjective at a subdomain level. So Are schools able to understand that? Are you able to produce that? What are the existing evidence that you have? Again and again, please take this to your heart. You do not need to create new evidences for this. That beats the purpose of this exercise. We want to see where you're at. How can this exercise support you rather than be more burdensome to you? Like initially it might seem like a lot of work, but in the long run, it's going to help you with everything that you do at a school level. Right? So that's why we want to make it as less cumbersome for you as possible. Right? And then finally, again, overall feedback and the process of external evaluation.